Good evening to everybody out there on Periscope land, and good evening to everybody here this evening at York Cocoa House. Thank you to Sophie, not only one of our panellists this evening, but also for hosting the event. It's very kind of you to have us. So I'd like to introduce myself first, and then introduce the other people on the panel who are all Small Business 100 alumni. What we're here for tonight is to discuss some of the great advantages of being a Small Business 100 business, and to actually help you in the audience to understand that you're not on your own when you're out there running small businesses. So I'm Tina Boden, co-founder of Enterprise Rockers. It's a community interest company that works to make life better for micro business owners, so those that employ between 0 and 9. I've been involved with Small Business Saturday since way back in the beginning when it first came to the UK, and year on year have seen it grow, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic to be here in York because I am ambassador for Yorkshire and Humber, and I don't let those people in London forget about it. So yes, they're very keen to make sure that Yorkshire is recognised. So I also run a business called the Efficiency Angel, which is a micro business, and that helps micro businesses look at their strategic development. And I'm managing director of an organisation called Business Advisory Bureau that helps large businesses, corporate organisations, understand how they can be more micro business friendly. I've run my own businesses since I was 21, which is an awfully long time, over 25 years, and I'm third generation self-employed, so I do know quite a bit about running a business. So I'd like to welcome first, we'll go to Nigel first, because you're slightly overrun by the ladies this evening.
That's nothing new for me.
So it's the way he likes it.
Yeah. Working with 3 women, I have to say, not overrun by women.
So Nigel was one of the Small Business 100 in 2014, and he runs the Boroughbridge post office. And Nigel, I'll let you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you are, what you do.
Yep. My name is Nigel Hamilton Evans. I've been running the post office in Boroughbridge since 2001 with my wife. Before that, I was catering manager at Leeds United, so a big step sideways. First time into running my own business, but a bit like Tina, I come from a background of self-employed parents who run a catering business. Big leap into the unknown, made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we feel that we've tried to reinvent our post office from becoming a post office that was tired, dark and a bit dingy with a few cards to a destination card shop, and hopefully a post office that you like to go to. So that's me in a nutshell.
And actually Nigel's jacket this evening is very conservative compared to some that he has in his wardrobe. I will just say I'm very impressed with how how dressed down you are. So next to me is Sophie, as I've already introduced you, and also Sophie was one of the Small Business 100 last year as well. We have a lovely picture on the steps of 10 Downing Street, don't we, of the people that were Small Business 100. So, and I first knew Sophie when I was running one of my micro businesses, Priorat Provenance, which was all about promoting olive oil from the Priorat region of Spain. And we met at food festivals and
we had our little market stalls opposite each other, didn't we?
Yeah, so that's how Sophie and I got to know each other, and this is just an amazing place. To think that you came from those little market stalls out in the cold, drafty weather. So yeah, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, Sophie.
Yeah, so well, we have York Cocoa House here, and we've been open just over 3.5 years. And I used to be manager for an outside catering company. So you get used to lugging things up and down, don't you?
Yep.
Doing a lot of hard hours and a lot of work. And I always knew that I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to specialise in some of the skills. So I worked for an accountant, I did marketing qualifications, I did management qualifications, I worked for a big global company, and I always knew that I wanted to have my own business at some point. And then I kind of, about 6-7 years ago, I kept telling people in the city that we should do something with chocolate, because nobody does anything with chocolate in York. And if we look at those destination cities around the country or Europe, there's amazing things, like people go to Dublin for Guinness, and like, what if we did that in York? And it was kind of like a bit, yeah, Sophie, that's a good idea. And I got fed up with people sort of saying that, sort of right, let's go do something. So I started making chocolates in my own home and telling people about chocolate, and it just kind of got very rapidly out of hand. So I started off doing market stalls and just had a sign in the back saying we do parties, teaching, classing, corporate events, and then people contacted me asking me to do all those things. So I was like, oh, okay. And it kind of went from there, and the idea of the Cocoa House very rapidly got born. So within about 6 months I had to give my day job up and was working on the business full time, and then it took us a year to find this place, and we opened 28 days later, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride since then. So I think it was a very rapid expansion. We kind of went multiplying our sort of turnover by about 1,000% very quickly, which it's a big steep learning curve, and it has been a very exciting and very challenging journey over the last few years.
So this is Claire. Claire is one of the alumni from the first year that Small Business Saturday came to the UK, and Claire owns a business called Chillipeeps, which might not really be what you think it's going to be, so I'll let Claire tell you about Chillipeeps.
So my name is Claire Mitchell. I'm the founder and inventor of Chillipeeps teats and spouts. It's a teat and a spout that attaches directly to ready-made baby formula and water. So basically when you're out and about you can feed and rehydrate your baby. I had a baby, she's about to turn 8, which is horrifying because that's how long it's been going. I had a carton of ready-made formula milk, I'd forgotten my clean bottle, and I ranted, why hasn't anyone invented anything that can directly attach to the carton? Nobody had, so that night I contacted Peter Jones from the Dragon's Den, said to him, I've got the next big thing, ring me. He didn't, but I got an automated email response back immediately that said, thank you for your inquiry, if you've patented it, fill in this form, if not, this is how you patent. And the next day I followed his advice. It took me 4 years to get to market, and we've been trading for about 4 years, and we sell it in 14 countries, small scale, so still a small business. Yeah, so we're all about innovation, but as it happens, we're in the baby industry.
And then we have Carolyn on the end from Helmsley, who is a champion of small business in the Helmsley area. If you've ever been to Helmsley, you'll know what a beautiful place it is. If you haven't been to Helmsley, I advise you now that you visit Helmsley. Anyway, so
did I mention we had a brochure with us?
So Carolyn, who I do want to, have a tendency to put S's on the end of both her second name and her business name, which shouldn't be there. So Carolyn Frank is from Libby, Butler, and this is based in Helmsley. So, and Carolyn was Small Business Alumni in the first year, and we all went to Downing Street again, didn't we, on in that year too, and that's, you guys met there, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, is the Small Business 100, to meet other small businesses. But Carolyn, tell us a little bit about your business and Helmsley.
Yes. So my business is Libby Butler Jewellers, as Tina said. We're a retail jeweller in the beautiful market town of Helmsley, right on the square. I can now say that I'm next door to Britain's best small shop, because our neighbours Hunters have just been awarded that title. So if you're looking for Britain's best small shop, that's next door, unfortunately. But mine's pretty good too. So we retail gold and silver jewellery in Helmsley and watches. Not my background at all. I worked for large multinational companies overseas, and I wanted to come back to North Yorkshire, and I found it difficult to find jobs in North Yorkshire where speaking Czech and German and telling people what to do was a qualification, which is what I've been doing most of the time abroad. And so I decided to buy a jeweller's shop that was up for sale, and it's actually 6 years ago today that we took over. So it was an existing business, and we've well established now in Helmsley. and I'm a founder member also of Helmsley in Business, which is an independent business group which has grown from some sort of quiet rumblings one Christmas not that long ago, 3 years ago, to an organisation with 52 members now, where we're working on joint ventures and on promoting the town as a whole. So, and Small Business Saturday, I must say, has become one of our biggest annual events.
So we'll come to collaboration shortly, and I know there's a lady in the audience who will find some of the stuff that Carolyn's got to say quite interesting. But there's a lot of discussion about the issues faced by independent businesses and competitors, costs, cash flow, and most of all attracting customers. At Enterprise Rockers, we actually believe that there are only two key things that a small business is interested in, and that is cash flow and customers. The two C's, forget about everything else, because they all link to cash flow and customers. So Claire, you don't have a retail premises or a business, a store on the high street, or you don't even have a customer facing sales, do you?
Well, ours is social media.
Yes,
that's my front door, is social media to the mums.
So what do you think is your unique selling point to attracting customers and then keep them coming back?
Well, I mean, it's me, basically, because people love the story, people like the fact that I'm the founder, I'm the inventor. When they meet me at the shows, they're like, you invented it? I was like, yes, really me? So yeah, I think that's the unique selling point, is that, I am the face of the business. We've got a great product that nobody else does. Obviously, that is the main thing, that I'm not selling myself, but actually I'm a very big part of it. Whether you're face-to-face or on social media. But more importantly, the issues I wanted to just raise was when we launched 4 years ago at the Nursery Industry Trade Show, there were about 800 independent nursery stores. Brilliant. This year we went back and I bet there were 50 physical stores. Very, very sad. We want to support the independent stores. As a manufacturer, we want our product in there and we want to support them. But they are disappearing, so it's so important that we support them. As manufacturers and as customers, we go in and that we actually buy independent, because that helps stores and that helps me ultimately as a manufacturer.
Yeah, one of the campaigns that we have at Enterprise Rockers is the Indie 25 campaign, and you've all got a wristband on the tables. But the idea of that campaign is that we encourage people to spend 25% or more of their shopping budget with independent businesses. Now, I spend on average around 90% of my shopping budget with independent businesses, small and independent businesses, and anybody that follows me on Twitter knows that. We're very lucky in Scarborough because we actually have an independent supermarket, which is a real rarity. But it is so important. It is so important that we keep the independents. I think there's over 60% on the high street of retailers are actually independents, so it's really important. Sophie, what do you think is your the thing that attracts, apart from that beautiful smell when you walk through the door, that attracts people in and keeps people coming back as part of your unique selling point?
Our product on Libby chocolate is very much about the experience. So one of the things that I remember that one of the very, very large chocolate companies, one of their experts told in the city, is to remember you're not selling chocolate, you're selling happiness. And that is, whether actually you're selling whatever it is that you are selling, you're selling a personal engagement and experience to your customers, and therefore we don't really want to see them as customers. We kind of talk about the Cocoa House being the sort of place that our employees are part of the family and our customers are part of that too. So people that don't know us are just strangers that we've not met yet. And we kind of talk about sort of people that come and join us as being sort of acquaintances or friends or family. They're all part of actually the growing business and being involved with that. And therefore we offer them an opportunity to come and be part of the business and be part of that experience, and therefore our hands-on activities become a really strong way that we can offer value and encourage and involve people to be part of that process and journey. And I think it's kind of really interesting what you were just saying. People, we try to communicate my voice in the business, but also everybody else's voice. Every member of our staff, we have regular monthly meetings, everyone's got ideas, everyone contributes, everyone's got a favourite product. It's not just about saying the standard thing about every product, it's all about kind of how we communicate what we think and feel about the products. So we really encourage our staff to have individual thoughts and be those personalities that contribute to being a warm and welcoming, hospitable environment, to sort of share our, sometimes it's expertise, but actually just what we love about chocolate, because actually we don't sell chocolate, we sell that happiness that comes from having chocolate.
Yeah, and you can smell the happiness as well. I mean, it's a shame it's not smell-o-vision that we've got going tonight.
Mine is a team effort as well. It's me, myself and I.
So, Nigel, you're part of the post office network, which at the moment is a little bit like Claire was saying about independent nursery stores. Unfortunately, the post office network, I mean, in my role as a micro-business specialist and independent business ambassador, I know have lots of communication from people that are running post offices. But apart from your jackets and your ties, what is your unique selling point and the thing that keeps people coming back to you? I get with the post office that one of the reasons they come back is to buy a stamp and to maybe get their pension. But what are the other things? Because you're not just a post office, you do sell other things.
No, we're not. Do you know what? I've heard a lot of sense so far. Carolyn and Sophie really are hitting the mark. It's all about being enthusiastic about what you're doing. And if you can't be enthusiastic, why should your customers be enthusiastic about coming back? I've come from a catering background, and I used to say to all my staff, people don't just come here for food and drink, they come for entertainment. When you walk into a restaurant, walk into anywhere that's got food, or in my case was Leeds United, I felt they needed to be entertained. So you leave with that really feel-good factor as if you've been appreciated. So if you come into my post office, I like to think that we're really enthusiastic, we smile, all the obvious things that people say, I do that, but when you walk into some shops, they're not smiling, they're not greeting, and product knowledge, that is absolutely important. As I said at the start, we went from a post office with a few cards to a destination card shop with a post office, and that's the way I think post offices will eventually end up, where it's very important that their retail offer is very good. But because we know our market, our product inside out, if you came in and said, I've got a nephew that I need a birthday card for, everybody would say, right, is he into football, cricket, golf? No, he's into rock climbing, or he's into sailing, or whatever, or something different. He's always on his mobile phone. I can go to that shop and find the perfect card, and I get really brassed off if somebody walks out and hasn't bought a card off me. I've even gone to the extent of going out and say, if you don't mind, can I do some market research? What were you looking for, and what haven't I got? Because next time I'll have in what I've got. So my unique selling point is it's an experience coming into my post office, and a few of you may have been into post office where it hasn't been a particularly great experience. But even when you're stood in the queue and you're waiting to post a load of items, if there's a bit of banter going on, I'm not talking about stopping doing your job here, I'm talking about a bit of banter going on between the staff with the customer, and you've got the customers behind you smiling away at the way that we're handling stuff, or somebody's taking the mick out the latest shirt that I've got on or what have you, then they leave happy. And I think that's so important for any business, at whatever, any level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad. So last year, usually on Small Business Saturday, I do a tour of Yorkshire and Humber, and both years I've ended up in Helmsley and Boroughbridge because you can't not. But last year I left, I just couldn't, there was so many cards in your shop that it was like, oh my goodness gracious me, and I have to say, yeah, it was a shopping experience with the cards, so that was great. And I have a presentation that I deliver as part of some of the speaking events that I do, and it's you're never fully dressed without a smile, and I do think that's so important. I even say that you have to smile when you're sending email correspondence, especially when you're asking people for money. You have to have the biggest, smiliest email when you're sending that email correspondence, saying, please will you pay this invoice, thank you very much. But yeah, you're never fully dressed without a smile, and that is important. So Carolyn, what about you? Apart from Helmsley itself and the whole collaborative working, which you do, what do you feel is the unique selling point? Well, I've been in your shop, so I know that it's just a lovely shop and a great place to go, but what do you think?
You've all hit the nail on the head. It's all about understanding your customers. We're a retailer, but I think that I do very little selling. I wouldn't think that I'm particularly a saleswoman. I wouldn't consider myself even very good at sales. But it's about finding the right product for your customer, and that's what we do. We buy with our customers in mind. Every piece of jewellery is personally selected. Every watch is personally selected by myself and my partner Andy. You know, and we've got a customer in mind. We have a lot of regular customers in our shop, and we have a lot of people who we may not have met yet, but I have specific ideas about those customers when I'm buying for them, and it's all about adapting to that and being flexible to your market, doing market research, knowing what people are looking for, and providing a shopping experience, not just selling to them. People love to come in our shop and have a browse, and that's absolutely fine with me. You know, though, it's creating that enthusiasm for the product that we all have. We're the best people to talk about our business. But what I find particularly now, and that's a really good tip I think as an independent business, is let other people do your marketing and your sales for you. My regular customers go and tell other people. Social media, I've got people recommending me. You know, let other people do your sales for you. There's no need to do a hard sell.
Word of mouth is the best form of marketing that there is. So that is without a doubt, it's the best way to get the word out there. So I'm an absolute huge advocate of collaboration. Anybody out there that knows me will know that, and some of the people sat around this table know that as well. If I can get others working with others, that is just such a huge satisfaction for me. I'm going to go back to Carolyn, and I know I've talked about Helmsley, but for me, one of the highlights of the Small Business Saturday bus tour in York was having yet another pork pie from Boroughbridge, because that's what seems to happen when we have a Small Business Saturday bus tour in York. But also was not just the businesses meeting each other, which is a great reason that the Small Business 100 people come together, but actually the different towns meeting each other. And Louise, who's not here tonight, but Louise from Kirby Bridal in Boroughbridge, and Carolyn had a great discussion about even Boroughbridge and Helmsley collaborating. So my question is, do you collaborate with others in your business? Which I know the answer to that one. So just tell us a little bit. I mean, we have in York, there's some great examples of collaboration. I mean, I think the Fishy Road network is just amazing what they've done, just coming together. And I know that sometimes the best way to do it is just to get on with it and not to wait for anybody else to.
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky in Helmsley. We're a close-knit business community, and we're in and out of each other's shops. You know, we're on the phone. If we're not emailing each other, we're talking to each other about how we can make our own businesses better. And I can't emphasise enough what a difference it's made having a business group in Helmsley. For me personally, and I know my other colleagues from Helmsley in Business would say that as well. We've come together and we've done a lot of joint events between the businesses. We've done joint PR, we've got a website, we've got a new brochure out now. We've just purchased a branded gazebo which we're going to use to promote the town as a whole. And it really is about sharing ideas, it's about sharing skills, and to be quite honest, as a small business, it's about motivating each other as well. You know, if you're having a bad day, there's plenty of people in your network who might be having the same bad day, or they might be having a better day, and it's that feel-good factor, but it also translates it into real solid business benefits. So if you have a problem, you know, when I worked for big companies, if I had an IT problem, I would ring the IT department and they would put it right for me. Now, who do you call as a small business? And there's no need now for any small businesses to be alone if you collaborate and you network. And you let other people inspire you and help you. And it's about asking the right questions. It's about helping other people and letting them help you back. And it really does move you all forward. It's not about competing with each other. It's about working together.
You live in a very small village, Claire, where it's probably not surrounded by lots of other businesses, and as we've already said, your shop front is social media.
Yeah.
So do you collaborate with other business owners as well?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, hugely.
And how do you do it?
Yeah, hugely. Within the baby industry, of course, we're all scattered, well, all around the world, but British businesses, and we collaborate, it's all social media. So we do giveaways amongst each other, we do, or you name it, we do it. So when we're together, we're supporting the charities and the charities are supporting us, but it's all about promoting within our industry together. I'm very jealous they're not on a high street with me, because I'd be in and out of their shops every day talking to them, but we just do it all by Facebook messaging, and anybody's got a question, you know, we're all very open. We've kind of got our gang who supports each other, and you know, it's brilliant. We pass ideas and stuff, but yes, I would love them to be next door to me, but instead I've got sheep.
I think maybe, you know, we have that in Helmsley as well, but we do also network. We're not completely inclusive and stuck in just in Helmsley.
No.
It is important to extend your network as well, and as you say, social media is an ideal way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So Sophie, I know that you're involved in a lot of the stuff that goes on in York, and have been key to getting the word of small and micro businesses out there and the benefits that they can bring. You gave me some amazing statistics of how many startups there were last year when we were chatting. How do you go about collaborating? What do you do? Who do you collaborate with? And what benefits does it bring?
Yeah, I think probably about 85% of my time is spent about the business collaborating with others, and that is probably what does our marketing. If you can align your strategy with, well, if you can create a strategy that aligns with the strategy of other organisations, then it can do amazing things for your business. I started mine because I had been managing an outside catering company, and I had the most amazing contacts around the city. So when you run events, you always need to know somebody that can do something. So I bumped into somebody one day who ran a venue that I used to work in, and they would only allow trusted partners to go in there. And I said, oh, your space, it doesn't get used, does it, on a Saturday? Can I use it to market and do various things in? And they knew me, they trusted me, I'd worked with them before, and they said, yeah, of course. And so I'd had a track record that had been proven, and then suddenly I got one of the most prestigious buildings in the north of England back in my corner for me. So when it came to writing a reference for the premises, high street premises in the middle of the city, in the middle of the recession, they were like, then, yeah, of course, we know that we've done business with you and we've trusted you and we're happy to collaborate with you. And those collaborations mean something. And when you're suddenly talking on social media that you're talking about collaborating with, we've collaborated with Google, we've collaborated with one of the world's most prestigious universities, it suddenly elevates you to a whole completely different level. And that has been sort of certainly our key to being able to create a business and partnership. At the moment we're collaborating across the chocolate industry, and we're really excited. So this weekend we're hosting the International Chocolate Awards here in York, and that's just been from persistent badgering, knocking on doors, being really, really persistent to the extent that I give people headaches and kind of pulling those other people, and suddenly there becomes a momentum around that. So we didn't have a marketing budget. We opened up on the high street in one of the most challenging recessions, and we kind of like, right, it's going to need to be friends that are going to help us get through this. And that is really what collaborating has helped us do, is actually allowed us to call on friends to just to help us resource what we needed to do and fulfil our ambitions. So it's so important. I can't underestimate its importance.
It is. Collaboration is key. What do you think, Nigel? Do you think collaborating is important?
Oh, very
There's
much.
not much of it goes on in Boroughbridge at all, is there?
Oh, no. No, we're very good in Boroughbridge, and I have to say, Helmsley is doing an absolute fantastic job, and we need to learn a lot from what you're doing. We're behind you, but we'll catch up. I can only talk about Boroughbridge and my business as far as collaboration is concerned, but just I like to think outside the box and look at my products and look what we do and see how I can promote those within other businesses. Now, I've had a few ideas that's worked really well for me, so forgive me, this is very much post office related, but it might give you an idea of my thought process. The post office does things like redirection of mail, it does home insurance, it does a whole suite of stuff that if you move house, you might need. So I've given packs into estate agents in Boroughbridge to give to anybody that moves into the new house, and it gives them a voucher to come into the post office to pick up a pack of just moved cards and what have you. So the estate agent think it's a very good thing to give them a welcome pack from the post office, where what I'm actually doing is inviting them into my post office as soon as they arrive. So it's a great way of, it benefits the estate agent because it makes them look as if they've done a really good job, but it also benefits me. I go around to local hauliers and bus companies and talk to them about travel money cards that you can get your currency for your drivers. So it's very much canvassing. You go into old people's homes, well, not homes, but I visited a luncheon club and talked to them about the fantastic home phone offer that we have. So talk to them about the different products. But collaboration. Now, it's very easy for you not to give business to a perceived competitor, but if you keep the business within your town, you've got a chance of all surviving. So if I haven't got it, a piece of station, let's say, I will send them to the local newsagent who will have it. Now, he perhaps wouldn't send that person back to me, but if I'm clever enough about it, I keep the person there not going to Morrison's, but also, if I pick up that I'm sending enough people to that of a product I haven't got, I'll get it in. So, you know, keep it amongst yourselves, because you have a strength. And certainly in small towns, Helmsley and ourselves, I'm certainly very, very fortunate, because I look at places like Ripon and Knaresborough, and you see a lot of empty shops. And that's so disheartening for the shopkeeper. But places like Helmsley and Boroughbridge, if all the shops are thriving, then it's worth going to. And we talk about Boroughbridge as a mini John Lewis of individual shops. I know that's hard but we all are real experts in our field. So if you come and you have an experience, you come to me and you have an experience. You go to the wine shop, he's brilliant, he knows this stuff inside out. You haven't got a shopkeeper there or an assistant just saying, that's $12.99. You've got somebody saying, have you tried this? This will be better for you, that product's better. We become experts as a whole, and that becomes the complete shopping experience that we're looking for.
You've become a town that's become a department store.
Yes.
Do I have heard that one before?
That's from you. But I like it so much.
Which is absolutely fine, because for me that's what this is all about. This is about helping people to have that voice to go out and do something that's going to be beneficial to their business, because it is important. And it's like networking, you know. This evening is an opportunity for us to talk to each other and network, and actually then maybe we can recommend to somebody else what it is, and you know, I'll go to this place, I'll do that thing, and that is what's important. We're spreading the word for other people. We become each other's marketing tools through that collaboration, and social media is absolutely fantastic for that. I'm really conscious that we're slightly running over. I can't imagine why, when I've got you lovely people on the panel, how we've been talking so much. But before we end our live session, and after that we're going to do some question and answers, I just want to ask, at Enterprise Rockers we talk about, there's so much discussion in the UK about startups, the number of startups. You know, there are the whole population of Edinburgh, which is about 500,000 startups every year. And it's increasing. As things change, as the economy changes, as the way we operate, that changes. And that's absolutely brilliant. But startups are fine, but actually beyond that startup stage, you have to keep going. And, you know, I have run an awful lot of micro businesses. I've never employed more than 5 people, and there have been times where I've really wondered why I'm bothering. And I do have a saying: if the passion's in doubt, get out, because I do think once you've lost the passion for your business, that's when things can start to go wrong. But to be fair, I could wake up tomorrow morning and I've lost a bit of the passion. It's like that real passion that's drained. So my last question for this part of the session is, what is your one key tip to keep going? What is it that keeps you going? And Nigel, what is it that keeps you going in your business?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I've only had one business, and it's done okay. So I've never been in a position that I maybe have to restart, and that must be really tough. What I would say is to keep reinventing yourself, keep thinking about the next thing you've got to do. I'm planning ahead for Christmas, as you know, Sophie is planning ahead of what the next campaign is, looking at your stock. You have to have that passion, and the passion, it has to be there. But if you get into your shop and you look at it and you say, you know, I'm doing the best I can, or maybe you need to change things around a little bit and look at different avenues. It was greatly encouraging to hear that Tesco's are in a bit of trouble, because years ago it was very much that they were going to take over the world, and now it's been proven that somebody else can come in and muscle into the market. And I think the next big thing could be small business. I think people will be moving back to the kind of service that we're looking for. So don't let it get to the keep going stage. And what I would say to anybody, which I've done a lot, and I'm doing a lot for other people, is go and find out what works for other people. If you're in your early stages or thinking of starting up a new business, go and talk to Nigel at the post office, because I've made so many mistakes over those 12, 13 years that I'm happy to pass those, a lot less you're opening next door to me, of course, but all the mistakes that I've made, I'm happy to share. And in fact, the post office had me do a video on cards and stationery for all postmasters in the country to learn a little bit about that side of retail. So go and see what people are doing well, pinch their ideas, take it back and get enthused.
Sophie, what keeps you going? What is the one key tip that you would give to the people here and the people out there in Periscope land, what it is that keeps you going?
It was never meant to be easy, really. And the more I see of other business owners, and I look back at some of the businesses that I admire, it's a challenging journey, and it's your journey that you're going on. You're not going on it alone, but actually the sorts of, I mean, a lot of our business is seasonal. A lot of these headaches, sometimes I wake up on momentous days each year and think, oh, okay, this is easier than it was this day last year. And actually part of that is about my own attitude to things. So it wasn't supposed to be an easy journey. Firing somebody is never an easy process. You've got to get used to it. And actually there's a lot of other people that have gone through that experience too. We tend to be quite isolated in our experiences as business owners, because you have to make decisions, and sometimes they're not easy ones to make. But actually it's not rocket science, and you're not doing something that no one else has done before. But it is a challenging process it is life-changing to you to go through that process and making those decisions. But actually, get over it. It's kind of, there's a lot of people that have done it before, and actually kind of when you start putting it into that perspective, it's kind of, you either want to do it and get on with it, and there's a lot of people there to help and support to do that. And actually, the world will keep turning and the sun will keep rising tomorrow. So kind of if you go to it for that attitude, then it's a much better place to actually overcome those challenges.
Thank you. Claire.
Mine's chocolate. I was expecting you to say chocolate, but mine's definitely. No, actually, my biggest tip to anybody starting up is make sure you know what conveyor belt you're getting onto. Know the timescales and the costs involved to get yourself to selling your business. Because in mine it was IP, tooling was £125,000. If I'd have known that when I started, I'd have never have started. But I didn't know, I went in blind. So know your journey, know the roller coaster you're going on, because once you've stepped on that ride, it's very difficult to get off it, because you've got money and stress behind you. So just know what you're going into, be knowledgeable, and then you're going to have a very challenging still, and there's still going to be a roller coaster, but at least it's a knowledgeable roller coaster that you're stepping onto, and lots of chocolate.
Yeah, am I allowed to say wine?
Yeah.
Well, and chocolate actually. Yeah.
Well, you know what we're like, Enterprise Rockets, our whole
Wine and
organisation
chocolate.
runs on wine and chocolate.
I think it's a sort of summary really. Again, I think we're all thinking totally the same thing, and you'll find that a lot in small businesses. You're going through the experiences that other people are going through. You're not alone. And for me, it's about stepping back. If you're having a bad day, if it's a problem, you might think it's a major problem. It might be a small problem. It might be an irritation of people ringing you all the time trying to sell you better electric and things. You know, this telephone callers which irritate me when I'm trying to help customers in the shop. But that problem's just going to happen on that day, and you need to step back and look at your overall goal and think about, why did you want to start in business? Why did you want to be self-employed? What's so great about small business? And just echoing, I think, what Nigel said earlier. I mean, this is the time to be in small business. It's our time, and I think Small Business Saturday just exemplifies that, and it's just the right time to be in small business, and you've got to keep that in mind. You've got to look at the bigger picture all the time and think about where you're going and what next steps you're going to be taking. And don't sweat the small stuff. Don't worry about those small problems in your business. It's not the end of the day. You know, look in weeks, look in years. Don't look in day to day. It's very easy as a small business owner to get caught up in that day-to-day admin, you know, accounts, VAT, all those things. And you've really got to look at the reasons you're in small business and think of the positives on those bad days or those times when you're having problems.
One of the things I do as the efficiency angel with the clients that I work with is to help them establish their vision right at the beginning, and then I make them put that vision on their wall. And actually that is back to looking at the bigger picture and realising you're on that journey, that's what you're working towards, and it is really, really important. But small businesses they're not the future, but they are actually out there. Research shows that people are changing the way that they shop, that they are doing things differently. They like that community feel, and they like the ability to go into that independent business. And actually, you'll find that we have been through this horrendous recession. We're still not out the other side, but it's really important to not think that you have to be the cheapest product on the market, not think that you have to undersell yourself, that you do keep going with that absolute understanding of your own value and where you want to be and the vision that you have for your business. And at the end of the day, if all that fails, there is still wine and chocolate. So I just want to say thank you to Nigel, Sophie, Claire and Carolyn. It's not the end for you guys here, but unfortunately it's the end for the people out there on Periscope, and we're going to be taking questions from social media and from the audience here. So if you'd like to tweet, Facebook question, or however you want to get it to us, Instagram it even, Claire's just discovered Instagram. If you want to do that, then feel free. Thank you very much for joining us.